Soul Land Episode 177 Original Novel DouLuo DaLu. Notice for YouTube, tomorrow I rest one day, I want to upgrade some background images. Maybe rest for 1 or 2 days, soon I re-upload, guys if you comment just comment where you from phehe. Chapter 210. Super 100,000-year-old, Ocean Overlord. TL by Piggy Bottle and Helper. 7 as 1. Tang San's voice was almost hoarse from shouting these words. Blue Silver Emperor's right leg spirit bones ability was activated as he immediately shot forward. If they hadn't faced a 100,000-year-old spirit beast face to face previously, they would have never been able to imagine its horrifying strength. They had previously seen more than a single 100,000-year-old spirit beast. There was Deming, Ming, and also Xiao Wu, although they had never seen Xiao Wu's 100,000-year-old spirit beast powers. No matter what, Xiao Wu was not originally a strong spirit beast. However, they had seen Deming and Ming's strength with their own eyes. Two-title DouLuo's spirit fusion ability didn't even have the power to harm them. When compared to then, the huge demonic whale below them gave them an even greater sense of danger. Hater was indeed telling the truth. This 100,000-year-old spirit beast's strength, it was definitely superior to both Deming and Ming. It was truly the overlord of the oceans. With a shout, 7 strands of blue silver emperor shot out from Tang San, firmly wrapping around his 7 companions before throwing them behind him. The Shrek 7 Devil had already been together for so many years. Although they were still a little muddle-headed, after hearing Tang San's shout, their response was still as fast as ever. Wings of flames extended behind Ma Hongzhen. Balancing himself, he took the unconsciousness by Chen Xiang into his arms. At this moment, he didn't have a single lustful thought. Beating his wings while pulling Tang San's blue silver emperor along, the 7 managed to maintain a single file formation. Concurrently, Oscar produced a pair of flying sausages, one for himself and the other for Dai Mubai. Imitating how Ma Hongzhen was pulling the blue silver emperor, he held Ni Rongrong in one arm, who was in turn hugging Xiao Wu tightly. As of now, the 7 were unable to reach the person in front of them, and could only struggle to maintain a straight line. Despite doing so, they could clearly feel the great pressure which emanated from those seemingly mountain-crushing tidal waves. Such pressure was in fact comparable to, or even surpassed that displayed by, the sword DouLuo. The vast expanse of blue was as though it had brought them into another realm. As it warped space, it was an incomparably powerful attack. They could be said to be a broken oar in the sea, that could capsize at any moment. What put them in greater danger, was that out of the 7, only Tang San could manifest his spirit. Although Akar could utilize his 2, he was only able to produce sausages. Even then, he had no opportunity to swallow a mirror sausage. The 7 definitely had to release their battle spirit before the wall of water consumed them. During such times, what mattered most, even more than team coordination, was the leader's direction. Tang San, who was at the forefront, suddenly had a flash in his eyes. Sustaining the greatest pressure, also unveiled his greatest potential. The 6 spirit rings surrounding Tang San were even more obvious in this situation, as they dazzled with captivating radiance. With the 8 spider lance retracted and his right fist clenched, he raised his right arm in front of his chest and the light in his eyes shimmered. Giving a low growl, a layer of intense gold light radiated from his right arm. This was Xiao Wu's invincible golden body. Only this time, the invincible golden body not only encompassed his own body. Under his mental control, the ability was forcefully expunged from his body to create a dazzling golden shield 2 meters in diameter. This change, although minor, is not to be underestimated. Tang San's eyes immediately dimmed, and his mental prowess plunged. Only with this was he able to protect his companions behind him. A sound similar to rain splattering on a banyan came before him. Invincible golden body's absolute defense, with brute power, stopped the blue wave's advance. Even so, the force generated was so intense that it threw the 8 of them higher into the air. Unlike the original 3 seconds of invincibility, the golden glow on Tang San's right arm disintegrated immediately upon impact with the wave. After all, the shield wasn't the authentic invincible golden body. Tang San couldn't fully manipulate it. Even so, it managed to defend against the fatal attack. Taking advantage of the moment, Oscar speedily produced multiple flying sausages and distributed them to those who weren't able to fly. With this, the deep-sea demonic whale became seemingly enraged. A mass of blue light, measuring over 5 meters in diameter, gathered in front of its hill-sized hump. The incomparable blue radiance only coalesced for a moment, before it was suddenly fired, speeding towards Tang San. Tang San could clearly feel that this blue light was the underwater attack which had destroyed the sea demon. Compared to the light rain, this could be said to be the deep-sea demonic whale's true offense. A sudden strangeness took hold of the dark of the night. Even though their bodies were in midair, all of them could clearly feel that they were as though underwater. The surrounding air began to ripple bizarrely, and an intangible resistance made them feel as though they were submerged in deep sea. However, this sea that consisted of air, had a far greater resistance that was impossible to struggle against. Domain. Only a domain's ability could control such a great region of the entire sky. This belonged to the 100,000-year spirit beast, the deep-sea demonic whale's domain. While the Shrek 7 devils were able to fly now, they were unable to escape swiftly. There was no possibility of avoiding, not even a chance for a breather, before the despairing blue light rising towards the heavens. Just when Tan San was about to use golden invincible body to defend again, two silhouettes appeared before him. Hell White Tiger. Like a tender swallow throwing itself on a bosom, Zhu Zuqing found her way into Dai Muebai's embrace. The next moment, a brilliant bright light illuminated the horizon. Under the white light's radiance, Tang San felt his body grow light, and the pressure from the domain reduced drastically. An immense white tiger with a body spanning over 20 meters, its wings flexing, received the huge blue light head-on with its gigantic body. Its gigantic tiger eyes had a domineering aura, as it seemed to communicate to Tang San. "We are one, how can you suffer alone?" 6 pillars of lights immediately enveloped the giant tiger's back. Ning Rongrong utilized her 9-tier glazed pagoda without restraint. At the same time, a defense increase was augmented on everyone. Enthralling silver light shot forth from the Hell White Tiger's mouth. Hell White Tiger Pierce was currently the strongest attack they could use. Its might could compare to that of a fully released spirit DouLuo. Earlier, even Zhao Wuji's 8th spirit ring could only just match it. In the middle of the ocean however, the 100,000-year deep-sea demonic whale, measuring 200 meters, left a lasting impression on the Shrek 7 devils. In face of absolute strength, everything else was fleeting. The spirit fusion ability Hell White Tiger's Pinnacle Strike, which was augmented in 6 attributes by Ning Rongrong's utmost enhancement, in that instant, burst forward. The Hell White Tiger became comparable to the might of a tidal DouLuo. Any spirit DouLuo facing them at this instant would be utterly defeated, without exception. But the deep-sea demonic whale was not a tidal DouLuo. Just before the huge blue pillar of blue water struck the Hell White Tiger, an ominous premonition rose in Tang San's mind. "This is bad, everyone be careful." As he spoke, his body had already flashed to the foremost position, before the gigantic head of the evil Hell White Tiger. A strong golden light erupted once more, as Tang San used his body to block Dai Muebai and Zhu Zuqing's front. The next instant, the Shrek 7 devils felt as though their bodies were submerged in a blue-colored world. Their sense of direction and control was gone. Their surroundings seemed to become illusory. An overwhelming power made all of them feel a deep sense of helplessness. The dreadful aura caused their hearts to feel an intense fear for the first time. Regardless of Tang San, or Dai Muebai and Zhu Zuqing who were in the form of Hell White Tiger, or the rest of the Shrek 7 devils behind them, they were all launched into the air like a cannon, and scattered in all directions. It was Dai Muebai and Zhu Zuqing who were in the worst situation. Their Hell White Tiger was almost instantly disintegrated by the terrifying pillar of blue light. Fresh blood sprayed from their mouth as they retreated. If it wasn't for Tang San blocking the center of the blue light beam, the two might have been annihilated under that blue light. However, it was also because of the huge bulk of the Hell White Tiger, coupled with Tang San's second golden invincible body, that allowed them to barely defend against the attack. The rest sustained a huge impact, but not the explosiveness of the dreadful disintegrating ability. Presently, the one in the best state was Tang San. Xiao Wu's 100,000-year spirit bone that bestowed his golden invincible body ability was indeed abnormal. Even in the face of such a horrifying attack, only his body was launched high into air, yet he remained conscious. At this critical juncture, his many years of battle experience and instincts allowed Tang San to clearly grasp the situation around him. Drawing a sudden deep breath, 2 vines of blue-silver emperor were thrown out, breaking its limit to extend over 100 meters, coiling around Dai Muebai and Zhu Zuqing, both whom were already unconscious. Abruptly, the 2 bodies were thrown again, towards Oscar and Ma Hongjun not far away. With a furious yell, "Take them, go now!" Following that one unrivaled attack, the ripples in the air visibly weakened, and the restrictions on their bodies waned. With those words, Tang San fearlessly plunged downwards, towards the depths where the deep-sea demonic whale was. Violent gold light emanated from his eyes, purple gold light erupted. Its target, the remaining right eye of the deep-sea demonic whale. It wasn't that Tang San didn't want to escape. Given his strength and Death God Domain's sudden attack techniques, he had a definite opportunity to break free of the deep-sea demonic whale's domain and escape. However, he was sure that unless all of them were destroyed, the deep-sea demonic whale would never let them off. The group could no longer utilize a skill as strong as the Hell Evil White Tiger. Thus, if all were to escape, they would definitely be wiped out. As the soul of the seven devils, and one of the strongest, in such situation, he would not allow himself a second option. He'd sacrifice himself for his companions to escape. At this moment, he did not consider his own survival at all, but daringly gave the rest a chance to flee. These were his brothers, companions, and love. This is also the reason Tang San did not keep Xiao Wu in his 100 wishful treasure purse. He himself could die, but he could not bear to have Xiao Wu go with him, even if she only had a physical body left. As he dived, his mental strength was used to the utmost to suppress Xiao Wu's soul in the sixth spirit ring. He would never allow her to return to her body to assist him. A resounding boom occurred, as the purple demonic pupil's light found its target on the right eye of the deep-sea demonic whale. However, what it hit was merely a layer of blue light. One of Tang San's most focused and powerful strikes, only managed to cause the deep-sea demonic whale to blink its eye. Of course, it was this strike that truly enraged the deep-sea demonic whale. Above the black pit along its back, a blue light coalesced once more. A terrifying mass of blue light appeared once again. In mid-air, Ma Hongzhen caught Dai Mubai. Right now, both his arms were holding on to Dai Mubai and Bai Chenxiang respectively. "Third brother," he screamed. "Little San." Also yelling was Oscar. Two adult men, but tears presently seeped down their faces. However, they didn't follow him, because Oscar had already caught Zhu Zuqing. Ning Rongrong had Xiao Wu in her arms. Ma Hongzhen also carried two. They could throw away their lives, but not that of their companions. Go! With Dai Mubai unconscious and Tang San absent, Oscar became their lead. It was with his final and utmost effort that he shouted the order. Tang San gave them the only chance of surviving. Oscar's rationality presided over his emotions. The lives of more companions forced him to make the right decision, yet also the most painful. "Third brother," tugged along by Oscar, and with the help of his flying sausages, Ning Rongrong moved, but tears poured out uncontrollably. The current Tang San had absolutely no fear, regardless of how strong the enemy was. When one casts aside life and death, they're unaffected by emotions. Initiating teleportation, he jumped the longest distance in his life. In the instant of teleporting, he utilized the final golden invincible body in his right arm bone. When his body next appeared, he was already on the massive blue back of the whale, to be exact, on the dark pit above which a terrifying energy coalesced, his body soaked in that blue light. With invincible golden body, he could actually be at the center of that utterly destructive power. Had Tang San lost it? No, he wasn't insane. To fight for the chance for his companion's survival, he had to block this one attack of the deep-sea demonic whale, otherwise the rest wouldn't be able to flee. Thus, he chose the necessary path of death. 8 spider lances infused with invincible golden body's radiance, ruthlessly pierced around the black pit, its length just sufficient. Bright red spider lances brought Tang San body directly above the black pit's center. Every single spider lances gave off an unprecedented red light. Inject poison without restraint. Absorb without restraint. Come, bastard. Even if it means death, I will still take away a bit of your life force. Tang San's eyes were no longer cold or murderous, but possessed an indescribable insanity. Being sure of his death, he ignored his body's tolerance. Focusing the mysterious heaven skill on the 8 spider lances, its absorption reached an unprecedented level. 3 seconds, Tang San knew he only had a minuscule span of 3 seconds of absorption time. How much he can absorb will determine if his companions can escape, if his Xiao Wu can escape. The might of the deep-sea demonic whale was immense, but it possessed an irremediable flaw, that was its huge body. If Tang San was to use the same technique on 100,000-year-old spirit beasts as De Ming and Er Ming, whose strength were inferior than that of the deep-sea demonic whale, even if he utilized golden invincible body, he would still be shrugged off. Although invincible golden body could not be harmed by physical attacks, it was still subjected to physical forces. Just like how the deep-sea demonic whale's previous attacks could toss him into the air, it was because of the massive volume of water carried by the attack, and not because of the energy surge. However, what that was gathering on the back of the deep-sea demonic whale was only radiant blue light now. The water within its body was depleted by the two previous attack. Thus, although the energy contained inside the blue light was frightening, it could not throw Tang San off. The 8 spider lances weren't merely deeply embedded in the flesh of the deep-sea demonic whale, the barbs on each lance were fully extended as well, thoroughly fixing Tang San above the black pit. The absorption ability of the 8 spider lance was frightening, and combined with this final push from Tang San with all his might, the ability was maximized to its fullest extent. If one was to observe carefully, one could clearly see that where the 8 spider lances were embedded on the deep-sea demonic whale's back, the flesh had begun to shudder violently. Huge pulses of red light traced the 8 spider lances into Tang San's body, stimulating his veins and meridians. Tang San's body was indeed tough, having been transformed by 100,000-year spirit bone, and forged by 2 heavenly herbs. All these bestowed him an unimaginably strong physique, his veins were more resilient than Blue Silver Emperor, his body was tougher than iron. Under the relentless absorption, Tang San's body actually became inflated, somewhat similar to the pufferfish DouLuo he met previously, except his skin was totally blood red. The deep-sea demonic whale was truly enraged. How many years had it been? At least 10,000 years had passed since anyone had dared challenge its authority like this, inflicting such an injury. The intense pain originating from the neurotoxin, along with the insane absorption of life force, roused an unexplainable sense of fear in him. He could clearly feel the deranged aura coming from his back. Although compared to him, that human strength was way too insignificant, but the madness he displayed, made even a super powerhouse like the deep-sea demonic whale shudder. When one is in fear, as long as he doesn't shy away from it, he'll usually be able to release his greatest strength. The deep-sea demonic whale included. Above the sea, all light seemed to coagulate in a moment. The motion of the sea seemed to cease. With the deep-sea demonic whale as the epicenter, a ring of seemingly solid blue light rapidly emanated. 1 second, just 1 second, and the half-sphere had expanded to encompass a region 10 miles in diameter. An explosion that made the sea royal sounded. With this deafening explosion, it set vast sea city hundreds of miles away into a state of panic. With this deafening explosion, 2 islands not far away quaked, even causing minor fractures on the land itself. Within 10 square miles, the sea seethed. Sea water sprayed hundreds of meters into the air. The blue crystal that coalesced from the light exploded in a flash. If an army was present, just this one blow would render tens of thousands of casualties. If a mountain was present, it would collapse while the earth split. But it was the sea, thus tidal waves surged into the sky. Oscar, Ma Heng-jun and the rest felt a sudden force emerge from beneath, although they had already flown a great distance away. Under the force, their bodies were launched like cannonballs. In the flash of an eye, they disappeared as dots in the sky. They were still fortunate, after all, this catastrophic strike was not targeted at them. 3 seconds, in Tang San's calculations, this should be the last 3 seconds of his life, that incomparably huge life force entering his own body, allowed him to clearly feel his meridians expanding to their limit. This only made him wonder, if his 2 spirits had both absorbed spirit rings, would it feel the same as this? Scene after scene flashed in Tang San's mind, after coming to this world for 20 years, in these 20 years, if there was any regret, that would have to be not being able to bring Xiaowu back to life, not able to see his parents reunited, and not being able to see the destruction of the spirit hall. The Blue Silver Emperor's spirit bone in his right leg released a radiant blue light, spreading through every corner of his existence, making the already tough meridians of his even tougher. Such that it became strong enough to withstand that immense absorbing flow without bursting. But, this already didn't matter. He could of course feel the shockwaves from outside, but the ocean's waves naturally couldn't affect him in that whale's black hole. But by the time the thousands of tons of water condensed in the air collapsed onto him, his golden light had already faded away. At this moment, Tang San's body already looked like a ball. But even so, he still continued to absorb. He knew that after all, the more he absorbed, the more damage he did to the deep-sea demonic whale, and the safer his companions would be. The invincible golden body was no more, and in the next moment, without any suspense, Tang San's body was enveloped by the golden light on the deep-sea demonic whale's back. The first thing to be injured was the 8 spider lances. The blood-red 8 spider lances which were constantly absorbing slowly turned more vicious, but at the same time, under the force of the blue light, started to fracture. Tang San's ball-like body was also sent into the air, as it faced the impact of the thousands of tons of seawater. Under the control of the deep-sea demonic whale, the seawater was akin to a massive hammer being swung down. Rather than tearing Tang San's body to shreds, it had chosen to use this method instead, to let this insignificant human experience a more painful death by crushing. His body was in the air. Tang San had already given up. He knew he couldn't possibly resist the deep-sea demonic whale after angering it like this. However, the Xiaowu in his body did not give up. His sixth spirit shone brilliantly, releasing a dazzling red light which covered Tang San's body, making his body seem ethereal. This was precisely the nothingness skill. Under the effect of the nothingness skill, all physical attacks were rendered ineffective, and all energy attacks were halved. The giant torrent descending onto him was a physical attack, although it too carried some energy-based strength. At the same time as the nothingness ability activated, Tang San's body was swallowed by the crashing waters. Although the nothingness ability made him immune to physical attacks, the instant the water rushed over him, he was already knocked unconscious from the impact. In the moment before he fainted, all that remained in his mind was the image of that girl in her fluttering white dress and her cloud-like black hair. In the eyes of the deep-sea demonic whale, Tang San's existence was no more than an ant, but the fact that this ant in his eyes managed to injure him and also somehow managed to drain a large portion of his own energy, made this deep-sea organism which had lived for so many years truly angry. Seeing Tang San's body swallowed by the ocean, the red glow in the deep-sea demonic whale eye gradually faded. Swinging his body a little, he basked in the water falling from the sky. This water, which was fatal to Tang San, was nothing to the whale. His body once again started to move. Its lone eye looked in the direction the group was flying away in. After hurting its pride, they could also forget about living. That kind of small distance could be easily covered by it in an instant. In this ocean, other spirit beasts might think twice before entering others' territory, but when did it ever care? In here, he was the true overlord. It could be said that, this place that Hater chose was the most dangerous place in the whole ocean. However, as the deep-sea demonic whale got ready to turn around to hunt the Shrek 7 devils who flew away, his body suddenly stopped, and he once more looked towards the sky with its lone eye, its body twitching slightly concerned, causing the air to fluctuate once again as it released its ocean domain once more. Just above his head, in mid-air, the Tang San who should originally have been one with the sea was somehow still there, with a certain triangular shape enveloping him. For some unknown reason, this blue triangle was extraordinarily eye-catching. After seeing this triangle appear, even given the strength of the deep-sea demonic whale, it went silent. From its lone eye an incomparable amount of hatred radiated. Yet even in the hatred, a trace of fear could also be seen. The blue glow suddenly became stronger, as a beam of blue light shot out from the tip of the triangle. This blue beam suddenly expanded in the air, and in the time it took to blink an eye, it had become a virtual image over 100 meters tall. The image was very blurry, you could barely see a human shape. Looking through the figure, the original dark sky suddenly became very clear, each and every star could be seen shining brightly. Evil creature! An old and vigorous voice resounded from the skies, although the sound's origin could not be located, rather it felt as if it was pressing down from the heavens itself. The ocean domain had already vanished when the giant image appeared, becoming strands of blue light that were absorbed by the image, making it look even more realistic. Wuyu the deep-sea demonic whale let out a low call. Seeing that figure, it couldn't help but slowly retreat, as the fierce tides and winds it had previously stirred up were so simply calmed down. In fact, it became as calm as a mirror, without even the trace of a ripple present. Did you forget the lesson I taught you 20,000 years ago? Don't tell me you want to lose your other eye as well. The archaic voice once more sounded out. Although the air seemed calm, the deep-sea demonic whale felt an incomparable pressure. This pressure did not originate from the skies, rather it felt like it came from the whole ocean. The ocean it originally could control at ease suddenly seemed like a frightening prison, tightly holding onto its body. Wuyu the deep-sea demonic whale once again let out an indignant roar. On its huge body, the lustrous blue light suddenly seemed to have some markings akin to scales start appearing, while the deep-sea demonic whale's body also started to change. What? Do you believe that completing the dragon transformation and breaking through the 100,000-year mark means you can violate my sovereignty? The giant blue illusion slightly moved, and along with its movement, this whole area of the ocean seemed to tremble. A giant twisting and squeezing sensation overwhelmed the deep-sea demonic whale, which let out a cry of pain, the hatred in its lone eye quickly fading, leaving only fear. Seeing how hard it is for you to have cultivated for so many years, I will once again spare your life. Scram! The hoarse voice spoke with unquestionable authority, as the ocean which was frozen in place, again regained its vitality. The deep-sea demonic whale very quickly submerged back into the depths of the ocean, releasing bubbles of relief from its mouth. The ocean too, finally truly regained its calm, leaving only the illusion standing there in midair with Tang San still unconscious inside the blue triangle. It's been 20,000 years, I hope you will not disappoint me this time. After not seeing him for 20,000 years, to think that brat actually managed to complete its dragon transformation. It's a pity my own strength. A lamenting voice sounded in midair as if talking to himself. The image then converged back into the tip of the pyramid, pulling itself along as it flew forwards, far far away along the ocean. After an unknown amount of time, Tang San finally awoke from his sleep. Jolted awake from his bodily pain, clearly able to feel each of his meridians pulsing with pain akin to knives being stabbed into them. The pain which seemed to have come from the depths of his spirit made him unable to help but cry out in pain. Gradually he regained his awareness from the pain. Hwa! The sounds of water surging stimulated his hearing, and soon after he felt cold water wash over him, and his breathing was cut off as water surged into his mouth when he cried of pain. The salty taste choking him suddenly helped him regain clarity. Sitting up, coughing hard, forcing out the liquids in his throat, however, that brackish taste remained on his taste buds leaving him with some strange discomfort. This movement from him, caused more severe pains to wreck every nerve in his body. With a cry of pain he coughed out a mouthful of blood. Here, he noticed that the blood he spat out was actually purple. Carefully breathing, while bearing the pain, only now did he inspect his surroundings. He discovered, at the moment, that he was lying on a beach somewhere, that liquid which had entered his mouth was just seawater, no wonder it was so salty. I'm still alive? Was Tang San's first thought, his mind quickly regaining clarity. How am I still alive? Tang San looked down on his body, not only was he alive, but even everything on his body was still present. Only that unbearable pain was still present on his body. Immediately after, his next move was to feel his own spirit. Of course, his objective was not to see if his spirit power was present, rather to check that spirit ring which was closely linked to one of his spirit bones. After all, inside was where Xiao Wu's spirit was supposed to be. It ends here, be patient my friend, go watch the King's Avatar, it is a good anime or donghua. See ya.